UCF 97, number 19 BYU 84. BYU closed as like a 14-point favorite, lost the game by 13. You don't need a iPhone 17 to know that's a difference of 27 points. Awful performance at home from BYU. DeBonsa was good again, but the team wasn't. Congrats to UCF, though. That Johnny Dawkins, big win for him.
Yeah, I'm going to do a cleanup on aisle 3, though, here. So Houston had not lost 3 in a row since 2017. So I was right. I think they had gone 2+ years without back-to-back losses. So that long without Houston. Your longest streaks in the country without 3 in a row. Gonzaga hasn't done it since January 2011. SDSU, San Diego State, since January 2018, and Arizona since March of 2020. So sorry about that, GP. Yeah, this game here on Tuesday, a stunner. Let me lean into the positive here. And let me just go UCF before we focus in on BYU. UCF didn't have Riley Kugel in this game, second leading scorer. You can make the case he's the team's best player. And to go in to Provo, 2 time zones away, late night tip, body clock past 11 Eastern tip, and to get this done, significant win for UCF, which is not out of the woods yet, but boy, this was a good one. Now 10-7 in quad 1 and quad 2. It is now top 25 in every resume-based metric, which is really good for the Knights because predictives still don't love this team. Predictives still don't show this team to be an NCAA tournament worthy kind of team, but the resume is undeniable at this point. UCF sitting at 46 at Ken Pom. The wins of note at Texas A&M, and that's not as good as it was a month ago, but it's still going to be a quad 1 win that's going to carry some weight. Home against Kansas, a huge one that continues to rise in value. Home against Texas Tech, a mega one that came on the last day of January, and then here against BYU. That's what the Knights have been able to do, and they took advantage in this one from just a hot night from beyond the arc. 14-24 from 3-point range. Credit to Johnny Dawkins. A year ago, I and most others that are tasked with tracking this kind of stuff in the college basketball media did expect UCF to move on. And whether it was just kind of a kind agreement where maybe he retired or stepped away, that was expected, very much expected. It did not happen, and now look at him. He is going to take the Knights to the NCAA tournament for just the second time in his tenure. The first time was 18-19. He has been the coach since 2016-17. So good on him for doing it. I want to send it right back to you before we dive into the BYU end of this. But this is one of the genuine surprises in the sport this season. I don't know if it winds up with an 11, 10, 9, 8, or 7 next to its name by the time we get to Selection Sunday. Frankly, it feels like a lot of options are still on the table for this team. But this is not a program. It's a high major program that we don't expect to see and we don't see in the tournament on a year-by-year basis. And here they have registered to me among the 5 or so biggest surprises in college basketball this season.
Johnny's going to go from the hot seat on the verge of getting fired to making the NCAA tournament, getting a 5-year contract extension, and then he will be fired and bought out for $21 million in 2 years. I can't wait.
I guess it's on the table.
That's the way this is going to go.
Yeah.
That $21 million buyout in 2 years after a contract extension for losing in Dayton. That's what's coming. They're gonna go to the first 4, and it's gonna cost UCF $21 million.
I'm not gonna go that far, but this is one of the situations where, like, if you're the AD, like, you're having a great season, but don't allow yourself to get bullied in negotiations. Like, just look at the big picture here. Themis Folks is a nice player. Jordan Burks can really pop. Both of those guys had 24 apiece last night, by the way, with no Kugel. Very impressive and very well done. So good on the Knights and a team that is, boosted up the Big 12 all the more this season. As for BYU, what the hell, man? The Knights had 1.25 points per possession. BYU was starting to make a surge late in the game so that it was, for a glimmer, putting it in doubt. And then UCF said, we're not doing this. Final margin is 13. The biggest lead in this game was 64-28. 64-28, and it got doubled up to the point of 70-35 in the second half. DeBonta had 29, 8 boards, not a single assist. Rob Wright, 20 points, 7 assists. Richie Saunders, his absence here was certainly felt, but it was the utter lack of defensive want to that was stunning and obvious and clear to see. I don't know what the hell happened here. Like this kind of performance, to me, it kind of just makes me stop at my tracks a little bit. They get the home win over Iowa State on Saturday, which I honestly did expect. I thought in that spot, desperate for a real win, Iowa State had done a ton, human nature, going on the road, BYU team, it's got some talent, it's shorthanded, that building will be ready. I think BYU is going to win it, and sure enough, it did by 10 points. And then you come back 3 days later, it's a late tip, your time zone, your building against a team that's, going into the game, it's, it's a projected tournament team, but not a guaranteed tournament team at that point, and it's just not a game whatsoever. Just a weird one. And now it's got games on the road against West Virginia and Cincinnati. And BYU is better than both of those teams, but my confidence meter is shaky on that. If they can go 2-0 in their next 2 on the road, they wrap up at home against Texas Tech. So keep an eye on the Cougars here. I don't know what quite to make of them. This is a team that started 16-1, and since then has gone 4-7. And it would be a damn shame if AJ DeBonsa effectively is a top 3 player of the year candidate by the end of the season, and his team doesn't even win an NCAA tournament game. Because now, we need to be open to the possibility that's going to happen, because the possibility that BYU has an 8 or a 7 next to its name as opposed to a 5 or 6 feels very on the table.
Starting to look like his freshman season is going to look a lot like Kevin Durant's freshman season.
Right. Yeah. Now, Durant was on a slightly better team, but they didn't make the Sweet 16. They got 1 win, but you're right. There are some parallels there.
On BYU, DeBonsa last night, 11-22 for the field, 29 points was not the problem. Unless you want to say he was also playing defense and defense was the problem. UCF shot 56% from the field. This is trending the wrong direction for BYU for a while, even before the Richie Saunders injury. If you go back to January 17th, they lost to Texas Tech that day. Since then, they've played 11 games. They are 4-7 in that stretch, ranked outside of the top 50 at Torvik with a defense that rates 176th nationally. So, yeah, they've got some things to clean up.